All right. Good morning. If anyone happens to be watching the live stream right now, it's good. It's morning here. It might be a very different time of day for you. I'm Ellen Shapiro. I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this is our Qigong for Beginners class on Get Set Up. So we're waiting for people to come in, and in the meantime, if you're going to practice along with us, which I hope you do, then just have some clothes you can move in. You may want to have a chair handy for the practice. You don't have to practice in a chair at all, but it's an option.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Michael.
How are you doing today?
Did you say something to me?
I was saying, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Here comes your students.
You want me to make you co-host, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Ellen and everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Your class yesterday was good. The one in the afternoon about touch.
Good.
I had to leave a little early because I had a session myself, but I had to get ready for that. But I enjoyed it. I hope it's a weekly thing.
Good. Well, we'll see. I mean,
Okay.
I have enough material to teach it weekly.
Yes, it was great.
Good.
But whenever you teach it, I'm willing.
Wonderful. And was that Felice talking?
Yes.
Yeah. I love your butterfly image, by the way.
Thank you. It's a peaceful thing for me. And the symbolism of the blue butterfly. I love it.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to make Michael our co-host. Yes. All right, so good morning, everyone. I'll start the recording in a quick second here. We have Michael from Get Set Up is our assistant. So if you have any Zoom questions, technical questions about your screen, yeah, he just posted it in the chat. And also he will pass on, in this class, there don't seem to be that many questions, but if I miss anything, he'll make sure to pass it on so you can put questions in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I've never done this. I love your other class. I have sciatica. Am I able to do this? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and what I would suggest for you is to do it in a chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. Okay.
Good question, yeah. And if anybody else is new and has a physical concern like that, feel free to just ask up front. Almost anything, if somebody has just recently had a major injury or surgery, of course, you need, this is probably not, even in a chair is probably not good. But other than that, if you can move, generally you can do Qigong. But for a lot of people, the chair is a really nice option. So again, I say this a lot. Please don't, if I suggest it or you feel like it would be a good idea for you, please don't feel like, well, this is only like doesn't really count. This is less. No, because Qigong is amazingly powerful.
Go pee-pee.
So let me start the recording because otherwise you're going to miss some of these teachings. And as Michael just posted, if you want a recording afterwards, you do have to request it by sending an email. The email address is right there. So let's start the recording.
I have a quick question, and
Yes.
maybe Michael can tell me or help me. I have a friend in Greece, just got finished texting her about the class, and I'm wondering if I can go into participants and invite her to join us, or can only the host invite?
I don't think you can do that through Zoom. I think you have to do it through, like an external email or text or something.
Well, Zoom links are only shared to the people who register before a class, right? So Laura, what I would suggest you is that before the next class starts, ask her to come over, get set up, and book for the next class of Ellen's. So then she will get a link in her email, and then she can jump in.
Okay, so in other words, I cannot invite her for this meeting, only the host can do it?
Well, not even the host can do it, because the links are
Oh.
provided by Get Setup, and they're only emailed to those people who are
I see,
kind of
our members.
registered upfront, right?
Good. Thank you, Michael.
No worries, Laura.
Great question. I'm glad you want to invite your friend. And yeah, if you think of this as like, I know it's all different, right? But it's like this is a private, it's not private because anyone could register, but it's pre-registered class through the Get Set process. So that's why, you know, yeah. So, all right. So Qigong for beginners, that's our class for today. I'm Ellen Shapiro. I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And the way I teach this class is there's a few slides, just a little introduction to Qigong. If you've seen it before, it's pretty much the same. I always say things a little different, but if you've heard it before, just bear with us. You'll hear something different today, and then we will come into movement. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay. All right, so sometimes what happens is like, and just to say this, so you want to have me on speaker view, that means you see me larger so you can follow my movements. And you don't want to have me on gallery view where I'm in the small square like everybody else. So that's a setting on your end that you have to change. So you want to be on speaker view. And what else? So we'll have some slides and then we'll get moving. Okay. And we are being recorded. Again, Get Set Up is this wonderful platform for older adults, teaching older adults and empowering you to do great things for yourself and take care of yourself more. So let's go into the slide share and then we'll move. Share screen. I don't know why this happens all the time. I had it open. Here it is. Okay, now. Share screen. Why won't it let me share what's open? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I couldn't see my own thing there. All right, Qigong for beginners. Present. Okay, so this is just a little bit about me. I am a native New Yorker, born and raised. I lived there for 41 years, then I moved to New Jersey, then I moved here to Santa Fe.
Alan, I apologize for interrupting. There's a text in the chat that Scarter says that no sound. Can you not hear us, Scarter? You can write in the chat.
Okay, can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, so then that means there's probably a setting on your end. The person
All right, no worries. You can continue. I will.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I've made a number of big life reinventions in my life, leaving New York City in that area to come here, and also changing from accounting, very conservative, sedentary kind of work, to becoming an energy healer and movement teacher. And I've trained in a lot of different things. I do a lot of different things. In addition to this movement class, which I love. And I just love teaching. I never knew that I would. My parents were teachers and I said, no way. I didn't want to teach in the school system, but this kind of teaching I love because what I love is showing people how quickly and easily you can change how you feel in your body and in your emotions. So that's a little bit about my story. And again, Get Set Up is here to help all of us learn from each other. I invite you to have your cameras on if you can for the sense of community. Nobody will be critiquing your movements or anything like that. Again, it's in the chat. You can request the recording through help@getsetup.io. So you have to send them an email. And there is a live stream going on here on the Get Set Up channel. So if you're somebody who's watching by live stream, you are really warmly welcome to participate more fully by being in the class where you can interact directly with me. And Get Set Up is not commercial. We are not paid to promote anything. So here's what we cover in the class today. What is Qigong? Where is it from? Why should you practice it, or why is it a good idea? There's no shoulds here, but who could benefit? Which the short answer is anyone who's breathing, pretty much. Basic principles of Qigong and simple Qigong that you can try at home. That's the goal, is to take, for people that are brand new, just expose you to what it is, see what it's like, what does it feel like to you, and taking away just maybe one or two things, movements that you can try at home. So at the very bottom, I just changed that this morning to setting your intention. So just in general in life, and certainly in something like a physical practice, really anything that we do, setting an intention, and it doesn't have to be complicated, it sets your mind up for receiving more out of it. You're actively engaging. So just take a minute, and maybe you don't even know yet. Maybe you're just like, I don't know, I just want to experience Qigong. That's an intention. But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just like a little more relaxation in my shoulders, or so just set a simple intention for the class. So, okay, so what is Qigong besides a strangely spelled word? And it's sometimes spelled with Chigong. This is an ancient healing art, thousands of years old, from China, and it's movement as healing. So other than something like physical therapy, we don't, in the Western culture, we don't necessarily think of movement as a healing form. But Qigong is actually one of the pillars of Chinese medicine. It's up there with acupuncture and herbs. It's not less. So it's that powerful. So the word comes from two words, Qi, which is the life force energy, that which powers all the healing functions in the body and everything that we do, not just healing. With the word Gong, which is a Chinese word for cultivation or work. So it's the cultivating. If you think of Qi as like a garden that you're cultivating, really we can cultivate our health. That's another kind of maybe new idea to you. A lot of, again, I think there's a lot of, in our culture, there's this feeling of like, okay, I mean, some people are even born with health challenges, but most people are healthy in childhood, and then stuff starts to happen. And so people have this attitude of like, you got a lot of health in the beginning, you've got a lot of vitality, and you just lose it over time. Well, Qigong is all about restoring that and renewing. And that how our actions, how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, do we move, do we get fresh air, all of these things add up. So we can either be adding to our, we could call it like our bank account of vital energy, or we could be subtracting from it. So Qigong is a way to add. See, like, I've never taught that before in this way. So it's interesting to me to teach from the same slides, but I just have a lot to say. I've been teaching now and practicing almost as long. So I've been teaching for 7 years. So who can do Qigong? Again, if you can move, you can do it, even in a chair. And I've seen people get a lot of benefit from Qigong in wheelchairs. So it's very gentle, low impact. It boosts your health, your vitality, your immune system, very important these days especially, and your peace of mind, your well-being. In Chinese medicine, the mind and the body are not separate. They're very interconnected, which Western science has now been proving for a while also. The Chinese knew that thousands of years ago. So Qigong helps you feel calmer and more relaxed, but it also gives you energy, and it's an excellent support for whatever you're going through, whether you're doing this to maintain your health and prevent illness, or recovering from something that has happened, illness, injury, or stress. So really, why I said that about you can do Qigong, anyone who is here, you are in good company with an ancient tradition where Qigong and Tai Chi are the primary exercise for people over 50, for all the reasons that I've just been saying. So, basic principles of Qigong are the principles from Chinese medicine, which says when the life force is flowing freely in the body, and then you're going to have more health and well-being. When the qi is stuck, or again, when that supply gets depleted, that can lead to illness and chronic conditions. And just sometimes it's not even that you get sick, you're just not, let's put it this way, you're not as alive as you could be. You're not as vital. So Qigong is also, there's a lot, you'll hear me talk about this, grounding and moving from your roots. So when we're grounded, we feel our feet firmly on the floor. We are connected to the earth. We are connected to where we are in space. When you're not grounded and you're not rooted, it's very easy to either lose your balance physically or emotionally, just be kind of like knocked around by, what life brings us. And that does happen sometimes, even to those of us who are very well grounded. So Qigong can help you, again, come back to your center. We talk a lot about moving with awareness, and that means, again, just starting to pay attention to your breath, your posture. How are you moving? Is it kind of jerky? Is it smooth? And when we first start Qigong, unless you've been doing some other practice, like some kind of dance or yoga or something else, there is a tendency to be a little bit more stiff and rigid in the body. And as you practice more, you can become more fluid. And as your movements become more fluid, so does the qi flowing in your body. And we practice in a relaxed way. So the 80%, I've heard 70%, but I say 80%. We go to 80% of our capacity in like our extension. So if we're extending our arm out, we don't go 100% and lock the arm. I don't know if you can see that. We keep a little bend. I'll show you when we're practicing. But the idea is that by maintaining a more relaxed stance rather than like efforting and straining and trying to go to the utmost of our limits, the body can relax, and that helps the qi flow more. So you can see some of the ideas here are almost opposite to things that you may have picked up from, our culture. So this varies a little bit in each class, but I try and teach from this menu, these different positions. And that is the end of our slide share for now. So I'm going to stop the share and we're going to get up and move. Okay. All right, switch my camera, take a quick look and see if there's anything in the chat. Yeah, let me just type something here. Okay. What else? Yeah, let me come up to standing. All right, so because there are people coming, this is the Qigong for Beginners class, and because there are people that are returning to this class, it's not just like, okay, here's a lecture on the introduction to Qigong, you go to that once, and then you don't come back. That's not how this class is happening. So we're always doing practice in every one of these intro classes, and so I try and vary up what I'm teaching. One of the things I want to talk about today first is just simple paying attention to this grounding. Like, what do I mean by that? Can you feel that in your body? Then I want to talk a little bit about the nervous system, and then we're going to do some Qigong that is specifically for balancing the nervous system. All of Qigong will do that. It's very calming. but this is a specific set of movements for that. Okay, so first let's just pay attention to our feet. So just get them planted, and I suggest barefoot. You can be in socks. Make sure you have some traction. You don't want to think about slipping on anything on a slippery floor. And if you need to keep your shoes on, you can. The reason we do it barefoot is partly because of this emphasis on grounding and feeling your feet. So, yeah. So, but if you need to be in shoes, of course, you know, you take care of yourself. Also, always listening to your body. So here's my 100% extension. Here's 80%. Maybe your shoulders are tight or you can't raise your arms up that high. So maybe for you, it looks like this. See how my arms are lower here. So this is about adapting it to you. When I do a movement that is too big or too much for you, or we're going, I'm trying to think of what we're doing. The movements that I'm going to show you today should be pretty doable for most people. We're not going to do anything really. I don't think we're doing anything over our head, which can be hard if your shoulders are tight. Yeah, and you can practice this one in a chair also. So, okay, so your feet are parallel and you start like that. But then you're going to modify this as you need to. So if I just bend my knees a little bit like that, it's not a problem. My knees can just go right over my feet. What I don't want, and what I don't want for you in any position, is for your knees to be, see, they're going in. That's not good. That will strain the inside of your knees. And I know because I injured that. So the goal is that your feet are positioned so that your knees can come right over. And sometimes if we go down a little lower, you might need to open your feet. And again, so unfortunately, with the size of the class and the way it is, I can't really answer your individual questions about your stance. So you're going to have to just really listen to your body here, which is a good practice. If you start to feel any twingy in your knees, adjust your position, play with it, or just try it in the chair today. Okay, so let's do some grounding. So just spread your toes and really plant them down into the floor. And if you're in a chair, sit forward in the chair enough so you can feel your feet. Then again, spread the other foot, spread those toes wide like I'm showing you with my hand, and then let them roll down onto the floor. And then lift one heel and just press into the ball of the foot. So we have a point that's on the sole of our foot here, kidney 1. It's very important for grounding. And doing this, sometimes we do this sitting down where you massage into that point, but just pressing like that, that's really good. Feel that ball of your foot, that point. And let's just warm up our foot, ankle, and knee. And even we get a lot of things in this one movement. Circling around. And if your balance is a little shaky with this, then take the chair and use it like that. Just use it as a support. Go the other way. The other thing that can help if you want to just try strengthening your balance without the chair is just to visualize rooting down in the standing foot. Then switch it up. So now I'm going to root down onto this foot. Really, when I say root, I mean feel the foot on the floor. You can even use the image of roots coming down from the sole of your foot into the earth. Then I lift this heel, circle that one around. Other way. Okay, just because I'm doing a little more teaching around this whole idea of grounding, let's play with our balance front to back. So, move this out of the way. Okay, so again, get yourself in your good stance so your feet are parallel and about hip width apart. So just like the outside of my leg is straight down from my hip. Some people think hip width apart is this, but my hips are only here. My foot is further out. Okay. All right, so let's just rock back and forth, forward and back, just a little bit, not dramatic. So taking the weight onto the balls of the feet and the toes, slightly leaning forward, moving back, and then back on the heels. Just rock back and forth a little bit. And just feeling your feet there. Good. Just a little grounding practice. And here's something, again, keeping in mind what's one thing I want to take from this class. And of course, you will have the recording too. Come a little wider, and let's just practice a simple grounding stance here. So bring your hands around. Your left hand comes just below your belly button on your lower abdomen, and your right on top. Roll the shoulders back and press down into those feet. And then relax your pelvic muscles. There's a tendency to kind of grip our muscles in there. And when we open like this and we relax, we can take in more grounding energy from the earth. So this is Qigong. This is a very simple stance called it's called Dantian Settling. This is our Dantian area, lower energy center in the body. Yeah, good. Okay, letting go of that. Let's see what else I want to teach you. So that could be a simple, let's say you come home, if you go out and you encounter something stressful, or just at the end of your day, you just want to do something calming, just right here, feel your feet. You can close your eyes and let your awareness move down from your head, which is where it mostly is, like as though you could think yourself down into your feet. Yeah. So there's a nice calming, simple thing for you. So I said I wanted to talk a little bit about the nervous system. So we have basically, it's all connected, but we basically have two different systems that work together. One is our sympathetic nervous system. So that is more active when we are awake and when we're moving our muscles, when we're active. Then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is more active when we are relaxing or sleeping. And that is very important because that is about recharging the body so that then when we're in the active part of our day, we have energy. The parasympathetic also, so it has to do with relaxation, healing. So that's why, like if we have like a cold or something like that, one of the reasons why we sleep a lot, the body just needs that sleep in order to kind of pull back from some of the normal activities that use up energy and use the energy for healing. Meditation, there's a lot of ways that we can support the parasympathetic nervous system. And the biggest one, again, is sleep and rest. Qigong is an interesting practice because it actually works with both. We work with our muscles and being active and our breath, and we also work with stillness even within the movement. So this particular form, so the parasympathetic, so let me back up for it. So most of us, maybe you've heard of fight or flight, or fight, flight, or freeze. That is our stress response when something threatening happens or something, just unexpected, that's like out of the blue. Our body responds to that by getting a lot of adrenaline going, and maybe, our heart goes faster. You might start to have sweaty palms, and the body mobilizes energy to get away from the scary thing. But in modern life, we're not talking about tigers chasing us down, usually, right? Or something at that level, like coronavirus, right? You can't see it. you don't even know. I mean, there's been so much confusion about how you get it and who can be carrying it. So it's like this threatening tiger that could come from anywhere. So what I feel is that a lot of us have been living in this kind of fight or flight, a subtle level of it for a long time with a lot of fear. So when we can heal our parasympathetic nervous system, we can relax into that mode. It just renews us and gives us a better ability to handle whatever is coming up in our lives. So I'm going to show you this form for that. So again, this is for healing anxiety, stress, trauma, even subtle levels of, feeling like life is dangerous for you. Okay, so let's just take a minute, close your eyes, take in a nice deep breath, let it go, feel your feet, and just setting our intention for this practice, for relaxing into the parasympathetic and nurturing our relaxation response. Okay, so let's come out, get your feet out a little bit wider. Let's just start in standing at stake. So bending the knees, and I'm gonna, again, I think I showed this before a little bit. My arms come around in a circle. I relax my shoulders and I just stand, feeling my feet and feeling the crown of my head lifting. Again, this is a standing meditation. This is Qigong right here. And this one is interesting because it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, right? But this is pretty challenging. So if you like this kind of thing, this is a standing meditation and you can work your way up to a longer period of time. We will not do this very long here. But even 5 minutes of this is a very powerful way of circulating the qi energy, and through the hands, we're sending it back to ourselves. All right, let's let that one go. And we'll move into the first form. So form is just basically one movement in a set of Qigong. Okay, so let's see. Let's start here. Okay, bring the hands up again. Relax them now, and now let the hands come down. And the feeling here is like sliding down a pillar, like a round pole. The hands move out here. You don't go very far. And they come back, and then we lift up on that pillar. So let's see if you can already feel. This is a variation on Calm the Waters. Very calming. And it's like we're talking to our bodies are about 70% water. We've heard higher numbers on that too. So it's like our hands and our movement are calming down the waves. We don't really have waves like ocean waves in our body, but we have this water moving. And here we're just sending, it's okay, settle down, it's all right. I feel my feet underneath me. I'm connected to the earth. I'm gently moving my energy through my body. And people often ask me about the timing of the breath. Just breathe naturally. So I'm inhaling here and exhaling down. That's how I'm doing it, but there's no real instruction. Just breathe easily and naturally. I'm not trying to get overly technical here. Let's do 3 more. I'll be quiet and see if you can just feel this form. Yeah, good. And now bring the hands a little closer. Palms are facing each other. And we'll move into our next form. So that was Calm the Waters. And this one's called Waxing Lungs. So bring your hands up a little higher. And now inhaling, expand. So here there's a little breath instruction on this one. Inhale and expand. Hands come out. Exhale, hands move back. So this is for the lungs. So take in your breath. Feel your lungs expanding with the air. And as you exhale, releasing the air from the lungs. Breathing in, taking in oxygen. Exhale, releasing the stale air, the carbon dioxide. See if you can allow the hands to be soft and not rigid. And we don't go all the way in, we just come to about here, so like in line with the lungs. Not really any leg movement in this one. And again, because this is simple, if you feel like you've got it, you can close your eyes and feel this moving in your body instead of watching me. And you otherwise, of course, continue to watch. So inhaling, expand the hands. Exhale. Hands come back. Do two more. Good. Okay, let's just pause in Dantian Settling here for a second just to feel that. And again, we haven't been doing this long, but we're standing in one place with our full body weight for those who are standing. And sometimes you can start to build up a little tension just from that. So just shake your feet and legs out. And if your balance is not good, keep your foot on the floor. Notice if there's anything building up anywhere in your shoulders, your neck, your face. And just let it go. So there's a simple example of moving with awareness. Okay, and also like I'll have people stop and just stop and feel this in your body. So I don't want to say a lot about that, but that's part of this becoming more aware. Yeah. Okay. So now let's move into our next form. Again, I'm going to go a little bit wider here. And I turn my feet out just very slightly, so it's not completely parallel. But that's individual. Okay, so let's do our next form, which is called Sifting. So I'm going to bend my knees as my hands come up. I'm really being aware that my knees are not going in. Hands come up. And they come to about here. And then the hands turn facing the earth and the legs rise. Never locking the legs. And then I keep it relaxed. Inhale. And there's a little bit of a sinking down here, just like it's called, the Chinese call this the quads, like the groin here. So just a little bit, like I'm almost starting to sit in a chair. It's not dramatic like that. Okay, so sifting. So let's do that. Okay, so inhale as the legs sink, hands rise, hands turn, and the legs start to rise. Keep going. And this is called sifting because we are sifting the energies of yin and yang. So the yang is the hands rising, the yin is the legs sinking, and then they're in opposition. So we are sifting now. The hands become yin as they move towards the earth, and the legs are more yang as they lift. So the downward direction towards the earth is the yin, and the upward direction is the yang. And there's lots of other meanings, which I'm not going to get into today. Let's keep going with this feeling of sifting. And keep the fingers soft if you can. So again, you can breathe naturally as you like. And just for those that want breath instruction, I'm just inhaling as my hands come up through my nose. And I exhale as the hands come down. So how would you move if you were just, I know this is a strange image, but it just came to me. If you could move through soft melted butter. You probably couldn't move that fast, and it would just make everything kind of softer and well-oiled, I guess, is a way of saying that. Let's do one more. Okay, just come to Dantian Settling for a second here. Just a very quick time check. Good. Okay. So take a sip of water. Okay, so now we're going to move into our next form in the series. This is called Walking the Bear. So we start with this spleen diamond. So just take your thumbs together, your index finger like that, and then turn it so it's flat. And we're going to turn to the side. So it does, to do this reasonably, you need to just slightly turn your feet, and this foot turns more to the side, the hands open, and with, again, soft hands, as though I had a ball between my hands. Then we carry that ball to the middle, and then we do it to the other side 2 times. And see how I'm leaning a little bit on that front foot. The back leg is bent, but it's mainly coming from that. So my posture stays erect. I'm not really leaning forward or bending. Just placing energy down into the earth is what this is about. So the hands are parallel, facing each other, holding that ball, and once more, planting it into the earth on this side. Walking the bear, deep connection to the earth, to moving slowly, feeling your feet in this form, feeling the earth. And the hands are relaxed, but they're not limp like that. Right? So, and even here, I'm holding something, so I'm moving with intention, even though my hands are relaxed. And depending on how open you are in your inner thighs and everything else, at this point, you can be like this, and you can also turn that other foot. All right, let's do 2 more. Last one. Good. So the final closing of this form is usually done in what's called the Taoist resting position, which is lying on your side. I don't really want to take the time right now for us to get into lying down position, so I'm going to show you something a little different. I actually taught this in my self-healing through touch class yesterday. I'm just going to sit here to demonstrate. Yeah, you probably will need to sit down. Just make sure you can see me. And change my camera. Actually, I think this is, even though it's a sort of odd looking with the camera, I think this is better for demonstrating. So when you're practicing this on your own outside of class, what I suggest you do is do this lying down on a bed or a couch. But let's just practice. So this is cross-body rocking. This is for the parasympathetic nervous system. So go across the body. It doesn't matter which side. And then take, let's see, so I was lying down. And then take the, so I've got my right, just as an example, I've got my right hand on my shoulder, just lightly, no straining up here, just holding it where I can reach it. Then I'm going to take this knee and I'm just kind of rocking back and forth. So I'm rocking the upper body this way softly, and I'm just moving this knee sort of, let's see, something is in the way here. Oh, I see, it's my other computer. Okay, right, okay. So cross body. So now I'm going to take this knee and it's going to go like that. And it's just a little gentle rocking movement. This is much more relaxing to do lying down, but just for the sake of time, I want to show you this way and then switch it up. And so now I've got my left hand up here, and that same side where I'm touching, that's a good way to know this. So I'm just going to rock that knee kind of across the body. You can close your eyes once you've got the visual. And this is actually a version of how often a mother might rock her baby. Like she'll have her hand on one shoulder and her hand on the baby's hip or butt cheek and kind of rocking it. And there's a reason for that. That sends deep relaxation to the nervous system. So if you're able to, after the class is over, you might even want to practice that on your own, on the bed or on a couch. Yeah, so that is the end of that formal practice. Let's do one more thing. Strange, I really don't see that yeah, computer in this view. Okay, so let's do one more Qigong movement. And again, about hip width, feet parallel to start. Hands are here. Inhaling and bend the knees. And again, you're sinking down in the quad. So it's not back, it's just kind of diagonally down. To here, exhale, turn the hands. Inhale, coming up, and I'll just be seated so you see where my hands are. And coming down, relax the palms and bless the earth. Brings us all of our food and supports our lives. Let's do another one of those. This is called showering Qi. And I teach this pretty often. I just think it's a beautiful movement and with many, many benefits. So to here, not up here again, just a natural level. Turning the hands, I lower the arms a little bit and then I inhale overhead Hands come down. And what we're doing with this hand movement is clearing the energy field around our bodies. 2 more towards the earth. And 1 more just for good measure. Inhale. Turn. Exhale. In. And exhaling. And then coming to Dantian Settling. Take a quick inventory. Just close your eyes. Check in with yourself. How's everything feeling now? And then bring 1 foot to the other, just for our closing bow. And this is just, again, acknowledging the sacredness of our practice and the beauty of our community together here. And thank you for practicing with me so much. And then we have some time for any questions or sharings. Okay, so change my camera back so I'm easier to see. All right, so you're welcome to unmute and ask a question, review anything we did, share what it was like for you, anything like that, and any questions, and you can also type into the chat. So let me just see what's going on. Yes.
How would you say that this is different from Tai Chi? How is it different or similar?
Good question, which I do get asked sometimes. And so Tai Chi, it's got the word Qi in it, right? So it's related to Qigong. They're sisters or cousins. They're in the same family of, movement based on Chinese medicine principles. Tai Chi is, when you see it, it looks more like dance because you move your feet more. Qigong is more stationary. They're both beautiful and beneficial. I happened to learn Qigong because my teacher came to Santa Fe and that's what he was teaching. And he knows Tai Chi and Kung Fu also. I just haven't learned that. So Tai Chi has a lot more sequences to memorize. To me, this is easier. They're both beautiful. And again, it's just whatever you're drawn to. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good. I'm glad that you're feeling energy moving. And I want to say something about that. Like what you might not even recognize what you're feeling is energy moving. So the most common ways are more warmth. There might be a sense of tingling, or even, I don't even know how to put it in words, but like a sense of circulation, inner circulation. I mean, I'm sure there are people who could literally feel their blood moving. You have to be really, really sensitive for that. But it could be a subtle feeling kind of like that, like imagining things are moving around in there. Sometimes people manifest the Qi moving by getting a little bit of sweat in their palms or a little more saliva in their mouth. And those are all signs of the Qi, or just feeling better means you've touched into your body's ability to heal, which is really what this is all about. So,
Yes, I had a question about that.
yeah.
When we were doing the exercise or the movement for the lungs,
Mhm.
and we were going in and out, and I was closing my eyes and trying to get in tune with my body. My heart at one moment started kind of palpitating a little bit or getting a little fluttery. And then after a while, it kind of calmed down. Is that a normal reaction? Because it was scaring me for a bit.
Right. I can understand that. It went away pretty fast. So I think it was just sometimes, again, this Qi is a healing power. So sometimes if it's like, put it this way, let's say it's a good metaphor is like plumbing, right? So let's say the plumber is flushing out like a small pipe and it's been kind of blocked. And when the water starts to move through it, it could feel like there's sort of like pressure, or except it's not a pipe, it's your it's your energy system, which is much more flexible than a pipe. So you could be feeling sort of the energy building, and then when it opens, you know, that could be what's happening. I mean, I don't know exactly, but
Okay.
minor things like that. Like when I started practicing, I used to get I'd get very hot, but I'll also get slightly nauseated, not really like sick to my stomach, but just a little
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So that's actually, Qigong is also detoxifying your body, and it's subtle, it's gentle, but if you're feeling that, again, if it's really uncomfortable, you stop practice or you sit in a chair and take a break, maybe drink some water, but it
Okay.
generally will pass, and then you'll feel
Yeah.
better. And that's
Yeah.
a sign that the body is just cleaning itself out from toxins.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because yes, I mean, it's various classes I've taken, the advanced as well as this one. It depends on my schedule. And sometimes I do feel the warmth and the nausea or the dizziness, but today I felt that heart, and I got a little scared, but after a while it subsided, and then I just felt calmness all over. And I
Right.
said, I guess it's a good thing. I hope it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you know, of course, pay attention to how you feel afterwards, but it sounds like just a good cleansing reaction. And we're not used to this idea, like if something like that happens, uh-oh, what does that mean? Is something terrible happening? And it could be. That's why, you know, I'm not a medical person. I can't diagnose anything, but it could be a sign of that. But if it's fairly mild and it passes pretty quickly, then, you know, it's just the body cleaning itself out. And another thing is just to make sure that you're hydrated. So the water facilitates the movement of the qi in the body. So if you're dehydrated, then you can get uncomfortably hot in practice, or sometimes a little, that nausea thing can just be you're dehydrated. Your body's just trying to let you know that. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
This is the first time I've taken this class, and I have been in Tai Chi classes before, and they usually flow from one movement to another. And today it seemed like the movements were always broken up with a lot of discussion about the chi of the whole thing, I guess. Is this the usual way the class goes?
I did a little bit more talking today than usual, but in this Qigong for Beginners class, I do more teaching. I do try and teach a flow also, which it wasn't as flowing today, I have to say. But if you want to check out my other class where it's more of a flow.
Okay.
You know,
So this is the beginner class, is what you're saying?
It is, and I mean, really, any class is beginner or advanced, but if you want the flow more, I'm doing more of that in the other class. So
good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, and that's the thing, everyone has different preferences. If you're used to Tai Chi, where again, it's one continuous movement. And in fact, what I'm teaching mostly in the other class, which is called Get Moving with Qigong, is a flow of movements. It's called morning medical, even though we don't usually do it in the morning. We do it in the afternoon, but it's not really about that. It's just a name my teacher came up. And that one was specifically, as I was trained, was the idea is to keep it in a continual movement because it builds chi more. But when people are just learning and they need more information, so I try and go back and forth between those two styles of teaching. But that's a great question. So yeah.
Seems like we got a question from Mary Steen Cruz.
Okay.
Hi. Yes. My question was in regards to the movement. The last movement, I don't know why, but I felt like I was actually tensed on my shoulders. So is that normal?
Well, a couple of answers to that. Is tension normal, right? I mean, a lot of us are walking around with it. It's not really normal. And I know that's not really what you're asking. You're like, is that a concern? And there's the two main answers to that are that one, you might be just becoming more aware of the tension that's already there. Like many of us walk around with our shoulders up or constantly tensing them. So it could be that. It could be that, you know, from the practice, you build up more tension.
Okay.
Once you become aware of it, it's just like breathe into it, just notice it. And then if you come back to class and you practice again, then that's a note to yourself. Okay, I have this tendency to like really tense my shoulders. I'm going to become aware of that when I practice. And over time, it will get easier. But
Okay.
yeah.
I figured probably it was that the reason what I was feeling that way, because this is my first class and I never done this before. So it does afterwards. It felt great. Actually, I'm more relaxed now than ever. I thank you. You're from New York. I was in New York too.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, living in New York, people always said, you don't seem like a New Yorker. It was like, well, I was born here, but I don't really like the rush. So
yeah, I lived in Manhattan.
Yeah. So New Mexico is much more my speed. Some people would find it too slow here, you know.
Now I'm in Texas, so that's a slow look for us.
Oh yeah.
We also got a question from, I guess, it was. We had Laura's hand up for a while, but then it went down. Laura, you got a question? Seems like Laura has left the chat, the call.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah, so just to tell you my classes, you know, when I'm teaching. So I teach this Qigong for beginners on Monday and Thursday. So Monday afternoon, Thursday morning. This is how it's been. It might be changing, so always check the time, but that's what I'm aware of. This new class I'm teaching is self-healing through touch, and then we have a guided imagery relaxation at the end. So it's like self-healing. I mean, this is self-healing too. So whatever you're drawn to, that's a new class. That's on Wednesday. And I also teach, and then the Get Moving with Qigong. I mean, you could say it's more advanced. It's just different. It's more of a flow, and I'm building a sequence. This one is kind of more informative, and we also move here, as you could see. So I teach the Get Moving with Qigong twice a week, this one twice a week. And I'm also teaching Ageless Grace, which is more of a playful dance class done in a chair. So those are on Wednesday and Saturday. So would love to have you back in class if you enjoyed this. And Qigong is a practice. You do get more out of it, you know, when you do it regularly. And you can also just take any part of the recording from this class and just practice a little bit. You don't have to do an entire hour to get the benefit. So thank you all for being here. Anything else in the chat? I don't see anything else. So have a wonderful day, and wishing you good health and lots of Qi for your day.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.